Isn't this all about our different definitions of success and what you have to do to achieve success? The
Hmm.
fact that both of you are on this program shows, I would submit, that you're both very successful people. I mean, Maya, I've read out that tweet. We know what your background is. You work very hard to create your YouTube channel, and it is an incredibly successful YouTube
Hmm.
channel. Antonio, I don't know what your background is, but you clearly are successful in the commentary world. Um, do we have to sort of think about different definitions of success depending on where people come from, what their backgrounds are, and how hard they've had to work for that? I mean, I don't come from a rich background. I certainly, all of my family were in the farming community, and I obviously took a different path. And I think I've worked really hard to get to where I've got to. And yet people say, yeah, but what do? You just sit there talking for 3 hours. You're just a gob on a stick. Well, I still think that that's quite successful. And I'm just waiting for the calls on that one. But Antonia, how do you define success?
There are obviously lots of different definitions of success that are evolving very quickly as we are, dragged into into the 21st century as a society. But the wider point here has to be about influencer culture specifically. And influencer culture dictates that if you buy the right products, so the right lip filler, clothes, makeup, whatever it is, you'll get rewarded, right? And frankly, the opposite is true. Most people who buy into that dream end up only with more debt. And essentially what we're seeing with influencer culture that, Molly-Mae is one of the figureheads of, is a 21st century pyramid scheme. So it's often saying to unsuspecting young people, essentially, spend money on things that I get for free. And if you spend enough, you'll ascend to the level where you'll also get them for free. And it's misleading, and it's doing nothing other than putting more people into debt, maintaining really gross standards in our supply chains, and also contributing to environmental destruction.
Isn't it about aspiration, though? And this is where I think the left often fall down, in that the Labour Party sometimes, and I would say possibly more in the past than necessarily the present, has come across as a sort of anti-aspiration party that almost want to penalise success. Aspiration is a good thing. Now, she's clearly aspired to good things, and she's achieved it at a very young age. Who are we to criticise her for that?
I appreciate what you're saying, and I think that's perhaps a little bit of a mischaracterization of the left. The left is a big promoter of equality of opportunity, and you only have to look at, this year's cohort from Eton's graduating class, compared to one of the schools that perhaps you or I went, and then you fast forward 20 years and you look at where they are, right? And the reality is that those that come from Eton will be, I can say with confidence, a lot more successful than the cohort that come from the next regular comprehensive. So there's being as aspirational as you can be, and we should all be aspirational, but then there's also inequality of opportunity and your wider environment and surroundings making it very, very difficult for you to overcome those barriers.
Maya, that is true, isn't it? That equality of opportunity is something that all politicians mouth that they want to achieve. But it's actually impossible to achieve because everybody will come from a different background. Everybody will have different influences on their childhood, on their education. And we are all formed by our backgrounds to an extent.
I think that you're right, but that's what we keep saying, kind of opportunity, but actually in our head, we're talking about outcome, because the equality of opportunity simply means that regardless of all that, regardless of your background and everything else around you, if you believe in yourself and actually take advantage of the good parts of your kind of strength and your personality, then the rest is subjective. There are, again, people like from my background who thought that we could get out. There are people who become, we call them spoiled middle class kids, who, despite their mommy and daddy money, they don't actually get anywhere in life. The rest of it is actually up to you. Personal responsibility as an adult. One quick thing: there are 2 points about. One was about the prejudice against the influencer kind of culture. It's not like that, because if you are bad as an influencer, as a brand ambassador, or what at your channel, YouTube channel, if it's bad enough, you will fail. Not all of them are like this easy life, lazy life that they're all just going to win. The bad ones lose. The good ones win and remain in power. And also the again, Molly-Mae thing is just politics of envy. People just assume that she was just given all this stuff because of Love Island and because of what she looks like. she wasn't given that. She already had the business mindset as a 19-year-old. Let's not forget, she's only 22. When I was 22, I was still trying to keep my MySpace page alive for some reason.
But this idea that, you know, if you believe you can achieve is frankly nonsense in modern day Britain. And moreover, it distracts us from addressing the real issues that, you know, create inequality of opportunity. And similarly, you're saying, if she was a poor influencer, she'd be cancelled or she'd lose her sponsorship deals or whatever it might be. She's good at what she does for Pretty Little Thing, but Pretty Little Thing, as I've said, pays its factory workers within this country £3.50 an hour, and it's been embroiled in a whole host of other scandals. So I would say that, sure, according to Pretty Little Thing's guidelines, she's doing well. However, overall, she's doing a bad thing by promoting that brand.
I fully agree with you. If that were the case when it comes to aspirational success, whether me or Molly-Mae, what we said, if we were trying to say that, oh, if you're poor, don't worry, just believe in yourself and you become a millionaire. That's not what we're trying to say. All we're trying to say is...
That's exactly what Molly-Mae said. She said, I have the same 24 hours in a day as Beyonce, as does the next person. So essentially, you work hard enough. If you believe you can be Beyonce enough, you can be. And that's frankly ludicrous.
This was her trying her best, like many others, trying her best to kind of essentially give some sort of hope so that people don't just completely give up and be like, I'm just sat here in my council state and this is the end of the world. It was her attempt, because we keep saying we need role models and people who have to kind of promote success. So where do you get that? People who have achieved success, but then when they do it, we attack them. Who do we want to be our role models? The ones who haven't achieved success to come to us to tell us, don't worry, you're going to be successful?
I mean, there are many people in our society that have, you know, achieved success through all kinds of different means. But if I would to look at, you know, the selection of them and who I would, you know, want our young people to be looking up to, frankly, Molly-Mae paid £500,000 at the age of 22 off the back of a reality TV programme. Promoting a brand that pays its workers £3.50 an hour is not the epitome of a role model for young people.
Let's end on a note of consensus from a texter called Nora, who says, I do like and follow Mr. Mahyar Tousi. Alas, Antonia is right on this. Molly-Mae cannot be given credence when she works for Pretty Little Things. Well, the main thing that's come out of this from me is thinking, what was I doing at the age of 22? And I think I was trying to get my hair to look like George Michael, because believe me, I did have hair like George Michael in those days. Thank you very much to both of you, Antonia, Jennings and Mahyar Tousi.